learn some new things about old things, like our African ancient laws and things of that nature. So that causes us to become different kinds of people. You know, like we're family, and there's lots of Lowe's, but there's only one Royal Roslow family.
Right, can you hold for a second? I think it looks a little bit hot in camera. It's just it's going to be the one sharing.
Well, I can just go into a bigger shot where
Okay, I actually shouldn't be looking at that monitor, though. I won't worry. Okay. All right. Oh, gosh, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, I already forgot that.
That was a rehearsal. Okay. So, okay. Well, you were saying that your family's a new family, a
Yes.
new entity?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
You know, it comes about in our learnings, but we do a lot of studying, and the new knowledge that we possess now, it has for us to think different. See, we don't think like my father thought. Exactly. We have certain values now that are different because we understand a little more about who we are and the purpose we have, or the one we want to have, instead of the purpose that we were probably given. So now we are kind of like in charge of ourselves. So in making that distinction, we had to change something about the Lowe's, and that's where the Royal Roslow family come about. That means we know who we are and where we going, and we driving. That gives us the opportunity to see things with our own eyes. So our family has been in Portland 30, 40 years. But the Royal Roslow family's only been here 4.
I see. When did the change happen, or how did the change happen?
The change happened because of, like I say, our values changed. And that's basically it was between men and women within our family. We wanted to have something that we could adhere to as some kind of something that protects us, that would feed us, and do those basic things that many people in our family were against. New knowledge, new information, being that some of them had already got all they wanted the way they got it. And that was enough. They were satisfied. We're a little younger, and we think a little different. And when you have information like we have, it causes you to have to think of yourself as a king or queen or princess would do when you become in control of your lifestyle, your culture. We have a problem in this country somehow is what is our culture, because your culture is what makes you what you're going to be. Well, we were kind of like denied some of our culture benefits, not knowing it, but study has brought it back or forward, as we say, and that has allowed us to make this change to be the Royal Roslow family. And I know most people say, well, when you say royal, do you mean you like the King of England? Yes, we like to think of ourselves like that, in the highest values that we can have. We borrow back how to treat one another, family. You help your brothers and sisters. You feed your brothers and sisters when they need it. Nowadays, I don't want to talk about this particular culture, but culture in itself, it has certain values that you have to use if you want to stay up on things. You can't keep something that keeps you down. You have to get rid of that and find what could uplift you as a person, as a member of a family, as a nation even. So we acquire new values.
That's great. You focus an awful lot on family and cultural values and history, and a lot of that comes out in the video programs that you produce here at Portland Cable Access. Maybe what we could do now is shift over to Rasta, and Rasta could talk a little bit about Portland Cable Access and how he's used our facility to produce the programming. Tell us a little bit about your show.
Basically, our shows are about a cultural expressions message to humanity. And some of that, as we've been making these shows, there's a method that Roslo has introduced I to, and it's a method called TE. We call it TE, and it's really teaching, entertaining, and informing. And that's basically how our shows, what they're about, and the method of learning that we use.
Great. How did you find Portland Cable Access, Rasta?
Well, I found out through my family, Ras Baja. Actually, I was asked about if I wanted to pursue some classes here at PCA and learning a little bit more about production. And I came down here, signed up, and been through all the classes. And now, since the 2 years we have been here, I've learned a lot of technical skills of how to use the equipment, how to edit, and I've learned a lot since the time I've been here. And I've really had a good time with the people here at PCA and their willingness to help us produce the shows that we need help with.
Mm-hmm. You use a lot of different elements in your shows. You use old footage, historical footage, and you use artwork and music. How do you go about finding all of those elements and weaving them together to produce a show?
Well, I'd say some of the ideals come from through family. I'm more like the son, the fulfiller, to go do my part. But my things come from members in my family, it's Ras Baja and other elders in my family that pass this information on, and I'm basically here to do the work. That's basically how I see it. But I do enjoy what I do, and I'm thankful that I have family that has these kind of ideals, and it keeps me busy.
Can I diverge a little bit and ask you how you got into the family? How you became part of the Lowe family, or what your relationship is? Curious as to how it all works out.
I have uncles in the Royal Roslo family that are my family members,
Mm-hmm.
my relatives, cousins, aunts, nieces, and uncles. So I have a variety of members in this family.
Great. Okay, let's go back to Ras Baja. Do you feel that video production and cable broadcast has been an effective way of getting your message across?
Yes, I do. In this way that we've been doing this cultural expressions to humanity a long time, but we were doing it with paper media. We write up things and pass them out to people. Our ideas, views of things. However, it was limited, quite limited. And when cable came along, we see the opportunity not only to do what we do, but to make it possible for more people to see what it is we wanted them to perceive from our perception of things. And cable, it allows you to do multiple things, like with editing music to video, new kinds of techniques, graphics to go with our ideas. It is not the only way for us to get the message to our people, but we wanted to get a message to everyone because there wasn't a personal message to just personal people. It was a message, like I said, to humanity, showing that there are some values that we have that are human. Everyone has. It's not a particular set of people should know things that we say. Family, everyone should know what family is. How do you belong in a family? What is a family? But people don't ask that. They just accept what it is. So we thought here's a versatile tool to give out a little information, to inform. Think of family in this way. There's another way. And your cable access made this possible so we could give our perception to more people.
Yeah, sometimes I get the idea that you start with the core of the family, and then the family bridges out to the community, and then goes beyond community even to sort of just a broad identity in which people can relate to what's going on. Can you talk a little bit about how family works with community?
Well, we do community service work. I mean, we volunteer to do things when asked. However, with the community, I'm not, except for community access cable, we haven't worked really that much community service until this time. Our interaction with the community, more people saw what we were doing, and then we were more able to affect something. But prior to this, community was limited, and what we were about, the people in the community were not understanding enough or didn't have enough information about it to know how to accept it. So it took us years of training ourselves how to be so-called mainstream looking, kind of change a few things, and we make a better impression, and we can get more community interaction. So that's what our community work is about, or like. It's a little lax, but it's becoming better because of cable. Yes. Our perception of their perception of us as the Royal Roslow family is changing to good. We like that.
Yeah.
We didn't know that was you, though. We thought you were like these other people, look just like you, kind of, but they don't say what you're saying. They could, but they have another view or another way, and ours, we figured our way was the way to say it.
Good. Can you tell us a little bit about your montages? You use a lot of those in the video I've seen.
Yeah. Montage, yes, those are our sacred entities. And, montage is like a picture. It can tell you 1,000 words, so-called, right? Where we use thousands of pictures to tell you everything. One montage could tell you something that you yourself could only unconsciously become aware of, because it's not just a visual thing, it's a visual, spiritual, inner thing that comes out. So montages ask you to look at them, but not passively. It asks you to become one with the montage. Drop some of your earthly barriers and come in to yourself. Now, montages are artwork with no rules except the ones that are natural. There are natural laws to making a montage. I know everybody said, well, you can just put pictures together and that's a montage. That's not quite true. I've tried, just put pictures together, and that was not quite a montage in our view. Montage has certain techniques. We got bleed, layered, numerous techniques I won't get into my montages on how to make them unless you come to the class. But
Are you the only one that does montage?
Oh,
or
no,
other family
no.
members?
We have other members
Oh,
that do
I didn't realize
montage.
that.
Oh, yeah, really. It's a family idea.
Mm-hmm.
And you've probably seen the beginning of a montage to us was in the 60s. See, this is an artwork that's been working since 1969. It was developing to this point. It's not just what you see. It's more than that. It's what you add to it. See, what your values are what you perceive, what you're looking at. Some people don't know what they're looking at. Well, I don't know what this is. How do what is it? Well, we build up certain places for people to land kind of in a montage. Yeah, we say, we'll give you a name, and that name of the montage will allow you to look at it and somehow come up with something for you, each person.
Yeah, when I look at them, I feel like I'm in a spiritual garden.
Oh, yes, sir.
It's really wonderful. Really, there's so much depth to them. It's really, I'm really quite impressed from what I've seen, and I really appreciate the combination to have the music and then the images to go along with
That's
that.
right. That's right.
Yeah. Can we? This isn't on the list, but do people in your family also do? Members in your family also do poetry?
Yes, we have some people in the family that write poetry. We're a lot of artists. The family is full of talent. It's just we needed a vehicle to use it, and that's what cable access came about for us. And it also allowed certain talents of certain individuals to be portrayed on cable access.
Great. Rasta, let's go back to you for a second. Do you ever get feedback from any of your viewers?
Yes, we have a few times. Actually, just a few weeks ago, there was a woman from California who was calling about some information about one of our shows that she heard through a PCA staff member here who told her about some of our shows, and she's interested in looking at some. Plus, we had another clip from the international, it's a company called The World of Wonders that's in New York, that's from England, that also used one of our clips in a video called Made in the USA. And it was our Heaven Grocery Store part. It was a poem that we put together with a poem about Heaven's Grocery Store. Then there's people here in the community, people that I see once in a while, that do comment about the shows and have said positive things as far as please keep stuff like this on the air. So yes, there's been a lot of, not going to say a lot, but there's been some positive feedback.
Good, good. What have been the challenging parts of video production? What have been the hardest parts?
I would say hardest part would be getting the studio time. That would be basically it, the studio time. And because generally when we come, we're organized to go in and do the work that we have to fulfill. It's just basically studio time and working around the times that the studio would be open. So that's basically it.
Yeah. What about, oh gosh, I'm trying to think what about just the creative efforts of putting video together, bringing all the elements together? Have you seen any personal growth with that?
Yes, that's what I was speaking on earlier, was developing the technical skills to be able to run the equipment. And I found out from the beginning, coming here, that you have to learn how to work the equipment if you want to get the best out of what you're doing here. And without, running out, and I've been very happy that the staff here has helped in a lot of times through my process and our process of learning how to run the equipment, have been very cooperative with us and have shown us different ways to check the system to make sure your audio is okay, or to make sure you have the right editing, that you're not editing audio when you want to do video, things like that. So that has been the challenge I see. Also is the technical skills we've got from it.
You've done a really good job of editing and putting images to music, and I just wanted to are quite impressed with the work that you do, and I was wondering, do you like editing?
I like editing. It's a fun and a time to work with my creative genius. It's a time to work with that. There's a lot of challenge, and sometimes you don't always get what you're looking for. And sometimes some things are accidents that turn out to be a creation. You might have messed up with the audio low and it sounded good, and you used it. Or, so actually, creative genius time, and I enjoy it.
Good. Well, we'll go back again to you, Ross Baja. Just one other thing. I feel that part of your family's emphasis has been in developing a sense of history, and one way that I think that we can really get to that is by traveling and going back to our roots. And I know that your family has gone back to Ghana, and they're currently getting ready to go on another trip, or they're over there at this point. Could you just talk a little bit about what it means for your family to go to Ghana? And
Well, our family we are cultural bearers. We like to think of ourselves as culture bearers. And that is one who goes and get information about our people and disseminate it back to our people who have never been, never seen, probably won't see, and can't afford to see their roots, their place, inner Africa. A lot of times we dwell on Kemet, or Egypt, as they say. And we always say Egypt is the mouthpiece of Africa, the one who speaks, the brilliant son of fulfiller. But it's inner Africa that brought the information to synthesize with for Egypt to remain and do its great thing. Even though Egypt is Africa, I want people to think that it's not Africa or in Africa. It is. But Ghana is inner Africa, and one of the great empires after the fall of Egypt. It was Ghana, Songhai, Mali, these other countries as they are now, that were the holders of our legacies. Like the King of Kings is still here. It never stopped. We have a continuous history that never stopped if we check it out. And you have to go back to inner Africa, Ghana we go to, but we don't just go to Ghana, because we go to Ghana, we go to Egypt, and lots of other countries that are around that, these countries, Kenya. We don't leave out much as we can afford, because the information is more important. Ghana is very important, you see, because at this present time, they had a festival for African Americans who were coming home, because they had what's the name of that dungeon?
Elmina
They
Dungeon.
had the Almino dungeon there in Ghana, and then that's where a lot of Africans were taken to many parts of the world and sold as slaves. But Ghana at this time is asking us brothers and sisters to come back home, see, and we'll prepare and help you have a place. See. And this is all being made possible by some black scholars such as Leonard Jeffries. I'm not sure what college he teaches at, but he takes people to Ghana, to Egypt, on these pilgrimages. And our family we're very close to Leonard Jeffries. We're like this close. So we can't help but have to be where he goes and see what he sees and learn what he's teaching. See? So to me, Ghana is very important, even though I personally have not been to Ghana.
mm,
It's my younger brother, Rasta Low, who goes to Ghana. He's our culture bearer who travels, and we supply the things he needs to go. Because we all can't afford to go to Ghana as much as we'd like to. As beautiful as it is, as I've seen, I like to go, but those cultural benefits from him going and then sharing it with the family causes us to grow. See, I look at Ghana like I've been there. See, I don't have to go now, even though I'm going. I really don't have to go. I've seen, yes, it's there. The land's there. The people are there. I see the state of the people, where I can help, and where they can help us. You know, so, like I said, we're culture bearers. We just bearing the culture. And we historically do our part and become part of history just for living the part that we do. That makes us the royal Rasta family. It gives us our mission in life.
Great. Yeah, you have a definition for culture, don't you?
Well, culture, yes, and no. We like to say that we have a definition for blackness.
Mm-hmm.
Blackness is color, consciousness, and culture to us. And we do that. And then we know that the prerequisites of culture is, not culture, but the benefits of culture, excuse me, would be an identity, a purpose, and a direction, which kind of simplifies your life a little bit. If you have that, a culture, you know what you're supposed to do. And that's what makes culture important to us. You know, because culture is everything. We're doing culture now. This will be part of our culture. We'll be in important cable access will be the future part of our culture. So culture doesn't, to us, leave out anything of value. Because it's everything you do that you actually do. Not what you wish, but what you do.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask you a tough question?
Sure.
What do you do when cultures collide?
Well, I try to let them know about the source of things. See, cultures only collide because they leave out information. And if you know the source of your culture, you know, that means you have a historical track record. And if you actually go back far enough, most likely in your culture, you'll see that most of them came from one place or one people. Like we like to say, one world, one aim, and one destiny for the whole world. Meaning, we all people from the same thing. We all humans. You know, culture's only class for lack of information or some other things like greed, selfishness, inhumanity to man kind of things. You know, where you want your will to be put on someone else, rather than saying that this person has a right to its destiny, regardless of whatever. So I don't mind culture's classing, you know, because it gives you a chance to work something out. It doesn't be like synthesizing this and this and it becomes something else. And both cultures benefit from it.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
That's really wonderful. Did I leave anything out, Preston? Do you have anything you want to say?
Well, I just appreciate our family, because our family appreciates this opportunity to
Great.
come in and say something else.
Yeah.
Because it also it furthers our ambitions also,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to let people in the community know other things about us
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
how we interact with everybody.
Uh-huh. Very good. Gosh, I'm so impressed. I'm really so glad that you came.
Thank you.
I get service.